All right, so in this one, we are going to set up custom domain names or a custom domain name for our app. That is, we want to have cur.com actually work instead of what it did, which was not work. So let's go ahead and really simply write into Heroku. We'll do Heroku domains add www.tur.co. Excuse me, not tur, but cur.co. And then Heroku domains add cur.co. Center, and there we go. So we need to actually add in you have to verify your account, as in enter a credit card to use domains. Unfortunately, that's the case. That is something that we will do. Pause real quick and do it, and then come back. For you guys in particular, this is just an extra step that you don't necessarily have to do to get to a testing phase. If you aren't going to go and have your domain name on it, you're going to want to make sure that the redirect goes to your Heroku app. You're just going to have to change some of those settings in particular. So what I'm going to do is jump into Heroku.com into my actual dashboard, and I can actually see my app in here. There it is right there. And I'm now going to confirm my actual account by adding in that credit card. That's not something you guys have to do, but I'm going to go ahead and pause it now and then come back when that's done. So I've added that credit card. So let's try the domains again, and we'll add it in. And now it's allowing that to happen. Notice it says configure your app's DNS provider to point to the DNS target cur.herokuapp.com. I'm also going to add cur.co as well. So www. as well as cur.co. So let's go ahead and jump into our domain name, and that is on name.com in our case. We do like using name.com, but I'm not going to just jump in and just figure something out. Instead, I want to look back at the custom domain and see what it is. So the different configurations is showing it right here. So we have our different subdomain examples and then where our target's going to be. So we want to update our CNAME record. That's all we really need to do. So back into name.com, we'll go into DNS, and we'll go to CNAME, and in www. We want our answer to be our app. So we add that record. And I'm also going to add in like blog for some of these other tests that we had before. And CNAME blank, add record. So it's just .co, CNAME, and we said, I think we tested live, just a few different tests to make sure that the subdomain redirect is working the way we expect. So since I added those other ones, blog and live, I'm going to go ahead and add them in to the app as well. So Heroku domains add and live.cur.co and Heroku domains add blog.cur.co. Okay, now let's go ahead and do Heroku open. I press enter, and there it is. It takes me to cur.co. If you guys are seeing this, there's a really good chance that you can go to cur.co and it will work. If we go to blog.cur.co, we get this bad request. So it's possible that the subdomain redirect is not working exactly like we want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it just at www. And then also let's see if the other subdomain, without it, it does seem to redirect right back to where it needs to go. So that's good. And we can actually test out the long domain stuff. So I'm going to jump into YouTube, into our channel, and I'm going to go ahead and just grab one of the domain lists here. And I'm going to go ahead and shorten off that URL. It's shortened. In this case, it says exists already. Why should this exist already? In fact, it should definitely not exist already because our production server should have a different database. So let's make that happen. Let's go into configuring Django apps. So if you do Heroku, Django, and database, you'll actually get a different one, is configuring Django apps for Heroku. Just slightly different. Actually, there's just more additional things on here. You can copy their example project, but we don't recommend that you do that. Instead, all we recommend is that you install Django database URL, and we're going to go ahead and grab that into our project here. So pip install DJ database URL, and then we're going to just go off of their update for this in particular. So we're going to copy this and go into production. So our production file, And underneath databases, I'm just going to paste that stuff in here. So this right here, you want to make sure it's underneath databases because we have this default here, and this is giving us all of the things that we want. So that should actually handle our production side of things. Now I'm going to go ahead and do pip freeze and requirements.txt again. So now my Heroku app has the database URL stuff set up, but I might not actually have a database yet. You can also do the connections to be lower to improve the performance of your Django application if there's certain things that we have. So going back into the Python one, we can actually add on our Heroku database or any particular database that we would like. So in this case, I'm just going to add in the default, and it's a Postgres SQL database. And we're going to come in here into terminal. We're going to add it on. And this is now adding on that database. This database has been created and is available. So there it is. That's everything that we got and need to actually make sure that our database is there and working. So now we do get status, and we do get add, and then we do commit it and update database and requirements, get push Heroku master. So since we're creating a brand new database, if you remember back to when we deleted a database, we have to run a few commands to make sure that it works on Heroku, and those commands we will run in just a moment once it actually finishes uploading. And now it's finished doing all that, so we're going to go Heroku run python manage.py migrate, and we're probably going to see an error here for a very specific reason. We changed the database to being Postgres SQL, but we didn't install the Python package to handle Postgres SQL. So we actually need to update our module or our requirements to have the PSY COPG2 module. So to install it locally, I could just try pip install and then that module, but you're probably going to see some errors. In fact, I'm just going to cancel it right now. The reason you would see errors has everything to do with not having Postgres SQL installed on your local computer. We aren't going to install it in this one. It just goes into too much stuff. So if you want to know more about that, go to joincfd.com/projects and look for the database project. And that will actually go through and show you how to do Postgres SQL. But for us, we're just going to go into our requirements because this is for live stuff. So inside of our requirements, I'm going to go ahead and add in the module that we need, and it's going to be greater than or equal to, I'll do 2.6.2, or we could just do equals to. So when I did that installation, it was looking for that one in particular. But yours, you could just write that down, and all of these requirements should work okay for us. So now I'll do I'll do get status and get add, get commit, update requirements for that. Oops. Postgres, and then we'll do get push Heroku master. And now hopefully it'll work. We're going to pause it and come back if it doesn't. Okay, looks like it installed successfully. So now we should be able to do python manage.py migrate. Oops, we want to do Heroku, not Python, but Heroku run python manage.py migrate, press enter. This should allow us to create that new database. I think that it will. And it looks like it has. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to see happen. And then I'll do Heroku run. We can do bash now. So bash being into the shell. This will allow us to run all of our commands just directly on there instead of doing Heroku run for each and every command. So I already did migrate, but I can run python manage.py migrate again in here. And it's just going to be slightly faster than before. And I can also do python manage.py make migrations. Realistically, though, you're not going to make your migrations on your Heroku app. You'll do them locally and then push them with the migrations made. And you would just really be running migrate on your Heroku app. And I also want to create a super user because we've got a new database in here. So I definitely want to create a new super user. And I'll just say CFE for this one. I'll leave the email blank. And then I'll just write a password. And our super user was created successfully. So now I can exit out of this just by typing exit. And we'll clear everything out. Now we'll do Heroku open. And this should take us to cur.co. We can put in our URL here now. We'll put in that YouTube playlist. I'll hit shorten. And success, it was created. So now if I click on this, I'll go ahead and open it up in a new tab. Should redirect me. It did it. And we can also now go back into this to see how it's doing by going to new, paste that in, hit shorten, and we see that we've got 1 count here. Really good. I can also log in here, or at least I should be able to. Whoa, Django looks weird. This is because we didn't set up our static files, and that's okay. We set up static files in so many other projects that you can definitely learn how to do it. No problem otherwise. So I'm just going to go ahead and come in here. I see my URLs, and there we go. So cur.co actually works. It's a real functioning site. And if I go to a page that does not exist, I get this not found error. So that's something that I am just going to leave as is. But in future reference, what you would want to do is actually create a template. So if we look at our Try Django 1.10 series here, we would want to create a template for the 404 and 500 errors. So I added these outside of the context of the video so I could show you how to do it here. So inside of our Cur app, right, go into source, templates, and we can add those templates in. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the 500 one, go to raw, and save the file. So you could do file, save page as, and then go to Cur, source, templates. There's 500. That's a 500 error. And then we want to go into 404. So we'll go back, 404 error, as in a page not found error. Raw, file, save page as, and in the root of the template file here. And there we go. So we did that. We do get status, get add, period, get commit, error, pages, and then get push Heroku master. It's pushing it. So now we can go and test it out. It's not quite there yet. So I'm going to let that happen. But I want to mention something here. Look how easy it was to make changes. So I added a couple files here. I added them to Git, and then I pushed them to Heroku. Of course, I could test locally, and I probably should in many cases. But in this case, I just ran it and did it that way. You can test locally both ways. So Python manage.py run server allows you to test locally. But so does Heroku Local Web that also allows you to do that locally as well. So both of them are ways to test it specifically. Now if I refresh here, I should see page not found, and I do. That's really good. So that's exactly how I wanted it to come out. And now I'm just going to have one more short URL, and that is joincfe.com/enroll if you want to take your Django project skills to that next level. We're going to see you in one more video just to kind of thank you guys. Otherwise, if you stop now, thanks so much for watching. I'm so stoked that you guys got this far. And it's going to be interesting to see where cur.co goes from here. We'll see you guys in the next series, hopefully.